like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
Cowboy Nation, how are you doing today, man? How are you doing today? Man, we got a good show. Wanted to come in right quick with this show. Try to get in early today because I want to be sitting back and watch a lot of these other great content creators as they come up with a lot of different topics. And we're still in the phase of trying to figure this thing out, but we're moving in the right direction. As you see in my show today, the title, I want to say something first before I give it to the title page of my thumbnail. The first part of the show is the Coach Marv got to eat crow. That now on my show on yesterday, I predicted some things that was spot on before they came about, and I'm liking some of the things I'm seeing, and I went off on about Mount Von Miller. I think Tyrone Church put it in my chat on yesterday. I don't know if he can get back in the chat or not, but if someone is friends with him, let him know Coach Marv ate crow today. He put in there about Von Miller being on the team, and I went off because I just was getting a sense about Von Miller that I felt that people thought Von Miller was going to come in here and they were going to bring Von Miller to be a dominant player. Von Miller fixed and I went off about Von Miller being washed, which I don't think Von Miller is who he was. I don't know how much gas is left in that tank because it can leave out the tank quick. When you get older, you can have a good year, but once that gas starts to go out, it can leave out the tank quick. But they signed Von Miller right after that show, and I was really bad, upset about, and doing the show talking about, why we want Von Miller and nobody else wanted Von Miller. Why he didn't, stay in Washington? Why ain't nobody else, entwined with it? Well, you have to understand, just like I tell y'all, just like I say all the time, context. If you got to live by the same thing you say. And I've been in this game and coaching this game. I understand that all my ideas are not always the best ideas, and sometimes you got to hear it from somebody else. But sometimes you got to have. Now I don't go with no ideas if it's not a standard, some very valid things, and you have to look at stuff. And I always also said this: we're just Cowboy fans. There is a method and a thing of what they're doing and how they move. I also said that we got to watch what they do and see what direction that Coach Parker wants to go in, and then we got to, tone out things to make him successful and see his direction and go in his direction and kind of understand what his direction is. We still trying to figure it out. We're learning more and more every day about his direction. So I had to sit down and had to have a long talk with myself. And I, usually when that type of stuff happen, I call up some of my guys that I've been knowing for a while that's been a coach, and they tell me, say, "Hey, man, look at it like this. What is he coming in for?" So lo and behold, when I always say when you talk about discernment, remember I always talk about discernment and being in these days of time and having great discernment. And that's not just in football, but you got to have discernment. You got to sometimes you have to stop and pause and allow things to come to you and you got to be open-minded enough to be able to search and understand certain things. So lo and behold, I goes on Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp comes on his show with Ocho and the basketball guy, and they had a interview with Von Miller. Shannon Sharp is a big fan of Von Miller because he's a Denver Bronco. And Shannon Sharp talking about he wanted Von Miller to go back to Denver and end his career in Denver. But listening to Von Miller gave me an understanding that the Cowboys was in contact with him early on, but they were in contact with him for a certain role, and they were waiting to see if that role was going to be needed. And Von Miller understands that he's only his role is like he had last year. And then I went back and looked at his snaps per at Washington, and his snaps at Washington was only 37% of the defensive snaps. So Von Miller said he's probably a 15 to 18 snap guy. He understands he's now in the specialty role. And he understands that he can go hard with some other things if he has to, but he understands his body at 36. And he understands that he have not been playing big time minutes probably in the last 4 years, 3 or 4 years, because one he was coming off the ACL and then the reduced role in Washington with 37%. So Von Miller is not a guy that you want to stress out at starter level reps for a long period of time. That's just your body just gonna, once you shut it down and get a role, is a funny thing. And I had a friend of mine told me, and he called me coach. He said, Coach, he said, man, Von Miller just come in to fill a role, and he's going to help that role a great deal. And he came to me and said, I looked at your show when you talked about what Charles Haley came here. And I said, yeah, but he said, but Max Crosby don't fit Charles Haley. And when you was explaining about who should come here, he said Von Miller fits Charles Haley's role of coming here. I said, wait a minute, man. I always say, listen. He said, you said this. He told me what I said. He had brought it to me. He said, you talked about Charles Haley. The Cowboys didn't need Charles Haley numbers that was in San Francisco. You said that they needed Charles Haley's championship experience and his football IQ. See, it's a funny thing, and I always say this. That's why I say my show is, I got some other guys, but I'm different. Coach Marv don't ever think that he just knows everything. A lot of stuff comes back down the road, but sometimes you have to have people bring stuff back to you that what you said. And I'm gonna show you in Twitter where I posted the stuff about the collective pass rush and about when Charles Haley came here, about the Cowboys needed his championship experience and his football IQ. And just like what the person just now said, locker room, part of the football IQ. And that's what Von Miller's going to provide here. Now, Charles had a little bit more in the tank than Von Miller, but at first he did because Charles was dealing with a lot of back injury. But when I listened to Von Miller talk about he's always been a great teammate, and Shannon Sharp agreed that everybody that said they've been a teammate with him said he's always been a great teammate. And then I talk about he has the camp, and then he knows Izaraku, he knows Gary, all those guys that know him, and then he knows Christian Parker because he worked with Christian Parker and he worked with the defensive line coach. Then I started thinking about something else. I told y'all to be able to understand, and if you understand the pattern of what Christian Parker likes, then you'll be able to know, you'll be able to hone in on the next move. Or you'll be able to push narratives or ideas that fit what he wants. You got to understand, we got to push ideas that fit what he wants, not what we want. The other narrative I'm finding out about this Coach Parker thing is they leave character references on everybody they pick up in free agency. What you mean by that, Coach? What you mean by character references? Everybody they're toning in on done work with some of the coaches they got, either now, past, college, directly work with them. Gary directly worked with the pass rushing specialists they brought in. The Lock worked with Christian Parker at Denver. The cornerbacks coach came. He coached the Thompson, the safety at Arizona. Everybody except maybe Mentor. But they like Mentor's speed and his playing ability. There might have been a light for Mentor because somebody probably was recruiting, wanted to draft Mentor or went to see Mentor when he was in college. See, everybody, they have to have a character reference because there's a certain mentality that Coach Parker wants on this team. And everybody got to have high IQ. Football, high IQ. Remember that, as I keep telling you, as a major importance to success of this defense. Because they're preaching it over and over again. And they're talking about teaching lessons, football smarts. They felt that their team was not football smart last year. And remember, I did my show when I did the interview of the Patriots guys, and I was doing the interview. I think what show I did. If y'all go back in my list, y'all will see what I did a show talk about how the Patriots way, by how they thought what their big defensive tackle they had, and he talked about they were smarter than most teams. Vince Wilfork, he said in Bill Belichick years, they were so much high IQ that they knew how to attack teams because they were just smarter than other teams. And that goes back to what I was talking about yesterday. High football IQ teams, that's an intangible quality. It's not physical. But intangibles mean things that are not physical, but you can use as a competitive advantage. Anybody tells you smart football players know how to outthink you, and they'll put themselves in position to get a competitive advantage on. Because sometimes the talent and the athleticism is equal. Sometimes you might be lacking in the athleticism or the talent part, but your football IQ puts you in a better position for you to win. Now, do they like this football IQ thing? No, they got upset about it for one, because of all these penalties. But get back to what I was saying about with Von Miller. When Von said that he talked about them being in the lead, the Cowboys offense being in the lead, being able to hunt the quarterback, things that we talked about, stuff to being able to control, to be able to hunt the quarterback. He has already did a lot of evaluation of their talent. He understands what Coach Parker likes to do. He's already broken that down in a very high Q manner. And he's willing to help young guys, just like Quentin Williams. The Cowboys are cooking with grease, man. They understand the value of the coaching staff, the smart players, and they're working harder and they're learning back the value of outworking people. And all these things, baby, are very good signs. So when I had to look at that, and my friend told me that, I said, you know something? I was wrong. Just like I said about Clowney last year. I told people when we signed Clowney last year that he was going to be a help if you utilize him in a specialty role and you don't try to make him a full-time starter at full-time reps. Those days are over. And if you use him in the right reps, in the right situations, he's going to dominate or do very well. And the same thing with Von Miller. Then I had to look at the roster. The Cowboys won four guys to play defensive end. This move is not saying that they don't believe Izaraku and Gary is going to be very good. And I'm still staying on Izaraku. Izaraku might be another Von Miller in the works. I know some people ain't gonna believe that, but it's time is gonna show. And he would love to work with a Von Miller. Same type of makeup. And I believe the Cowboys wanted that also. Because the Cowboys believe in Izaraku. It's our Cowboy Nation. We say certain things we get about. But when I saw bad stuff in his film, I saw a guy that was thinking, and I saw a guy that was confused. And that's everybody on that defense last year. But when he was not confused, I saw great technique. And then as I keep saying, when I find out that he hurt his labrum, his hip labrum, early on and continued to play through it, I could understand a little bit of the unbend. And I know how that hip labrum, how hard that is to play with when you're trying to have leverage. That's a very painful injury. But he played through it as a rookie. You know what that reminds me of? When Diggs played through his broken foot and came back and played through and got those reps. And he exploded the next year. I'm telling you. He's a Raku in Rebel. And your middle linebacker that we talked a lot of trash about. They're going to take massive leaps from that doo-doo shoot of what they went through last year. Watch what I tell you now. Got this football, man. So I had to eat crow. And I did eat crow, and Church was right. I'm not saying it wasn't able, but a lot of guys was right that maybe thought I was going after them. I still don't think, yes, we could take a Max Crosby. I don't think the Cowboys going there because I don't think the Cowboys want a long-term deal. I think that they like what they got here. I think they're looking for fillers. And if they get a good filler or a good young player with no injury history, they may pull the move. But yes, I eat crow when I say that because listen, that's what I am. I understand. I've been in this game long enough to understand. I've had coaches, a great coach tell me, say, "Hey, man, whenever you think you start knowing everything as a coach, you can't learn nothing. Get out the game. Be open minded." And the only way you're gonna be open minded is you have to look at things. And when something comes about and it happens, you have to look at it and try to understand. That don't mean you're gonna always agree. You may come up and say, "Hey, I really took a good look at it again through your eyes and tried to, and I still don't see that. But for the right situation, he is a good filler piece. Now, there's some other things that I think I overheard. Yeah, they may be looking. I don't think it's Cosby, but they may be looking at another guy because they want four great pass rushers because if they have an injury, they still want four guys. I think they got three guys. As I said again about uh, Houston. Houston is a professional pass rusher. A younger Von Miller, I mean, and when you talk about backup, but Houston is not a guy that you want to be on the field for 60 plays either. Because the run would kind of break him down. But as a pass rusher, oh yeah, you bring him and Von Miller in on the when they need to get a rest, or you want to bring some new guys to get at the quarterback, you all right. So you might need another guy. And they may want to bring in another guy. But as I told you, this numbers game is gonna get funny. But I want you to understand something about the numbers game. A lot of people putting things out there, they already pushing people off the boat and all this stuff right there. There's a lot of training camp left. There's a lot of preseason games left. You're gonna have some people get hurt. And then that's gonna figure out that's gonna help you're gonna have some people gonna get hurt, and you're gonna have some people that they're gonna make some injuries for. There's gonna be some guys they're gonna make some injuries so they can redshirt them that they don't take up a spot. So believe you, they're working on this roster thing, and it's a very hard job. I don't think we give the credit of these guys when you only talking about 55 and 70 guys and people out there trying to take in all the cuts at one time. I don't think we give the coaches and the administration enough that's a hard job. I didn't have to deal with that because when I was in high school coaching, we is whoever we wanted. We had room for everybody, and then you have some people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was off on certain things. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I was off. I just the Von Miller thing. I'm eating crow on that, and then I'm gonna go back to that. And I said about the holding thing. I said yesterday. That's before they cut him. I said that we needed to do that. Not no. This is no disrespect for Holden, but we needed to do that to set a standard in the locker room and said there is no selfish play. There is no I'm trying to make a play for me and do something to hurt the team. That's not happening no more. And that's a statement that goes around, and now everybody else is on that point, like, okay, yeah, there's no, yeah. And that listen, you could wrap it around Von Miller, but he made it easy. And that's a great move. I like that move. So again, Shotty is trying to get his trust with his players. It's what I say, it's what I say. If I tell you I'm gonna give you a shot to earn the position, and I'm gonna give you this shot in this game, and I'm gonna give you a real shot to earn the position, I'm gonna do that. If you lose it, that's on you. When you walk out the door, you'll understand that you lost. I tell you, man, trust and respect. Respect and trust is the two things coaches want. Love and like will come after the success or whatever you get them to or what you bring out of them. But if you tell guys you're going to give them a shot, give it to them. And if they lose it, they lose it. I was right about one other thing. Another thing why they pulled the trigger on this thing again with Von Miller, they might have pulled the trigger when they saw Sam Williams play. See, Sam Williams gonna be the guy they thought that could be the veteran guy that they can have spot and just go and just rush the pass. But Sam is still see some plays that he didn't chase the ball. I see plays where he just guys block him on the backside and he stayed with the guy, just chest bumping with the guy. His pursuit is at 0 speed, not fast speed pursuit like a guy that run a 4.40. No, I think some of his being and all that stuff has been gone. He had a little bit more after that, but I think that knee injury, he's just a straight line speed guy, and he still ain't playing with the length of his hands. And I know these things have been worked with him. I know they done talked about this. This is what's been his problem from day one. And I know that they've talked about this more than one time. And just some guys just ain't gonna get it. They just gave him a $2 million contract. That was just the contract basically like they've signed undrafted free agents. They say, hey, we're gonna give you a chance for you to be able to show us something and see if we can get something out of you. That's not happening. And I said in a Twitter post, they're gonna put him out there. They probably gonna continue to play him. They're not gonna cut him right now. They're gonna continue to play him. Hope he do some splash plays in the next 2 preseason games. Something to wow everybody. Don't y'all get too crazy about it, because y'all know what y'all like to do when somebody do splash plays. Y'all like, oh, that weird. No, his consistency is what it is. He is not consistent. You don't want non-consistent players on your football team. Let me say that again. You don't want guys. This is every guy that y'all see made a splash. They ain't got to do great things the next game, but you want them to be consistently good. They may have opportunities where they're great, where they make plays, but consistently good. You're not asking players to be perfect, but you're asking them to be consistently good. That's what you will all do your roster. Because so when guys have their roles, we know what we can expect out of their roles every time. It might not be no great performance, but it's going to be a good performance in their roles. I don't want nobody on this team that's going to give me 2 touchdowns, acrobatic catch, and then the next game they can't block nobody, dropping the ball, don't know what it plays, no hustling. No. Go. I'm gone. He gone. Give me somebody who's going to be consistently good. I got enough stars to surround them with some consistently good guys. We could win a Super Bowl. I don't need to surround my stars with guys that are up and down. Let me give you this analogy. My cousin used to tell me that he's a mechanic. The engine is good, but you need those spark plugs to be consistent in their firing for the engine to get the performance it's supposed to get. The engine could be great, but if the spark plugs missing firing, one time they firing good, the next minute they're not, you're going to hurt the performance of the engine. Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Williams, Quinn Williams, Thompson, Blake, all your top line guys, Clark. They're the guys. They need consistent guys around them. Sometimes those guys are going to make some great plays. Sometimes those guys are going to make good plays. Nothing to hurt them. And then they're going to take it from there. Remember when you're looking at this, when you talk about guys, I know people like to say players to win the room, win the fan base. I understand that. I can understand that. But be very careful. The guys don't win win the room today, and then when you watch them on film, they jack up everything. And then you're living off what they did the other day. And you're pushing, promoting a guy that's inconsistent. I like, and I'm not talking about the receiver because I said they'll tell me he's stacking days every day in practice. So he's building consistent. That's why they like him. This is why Holden probably got cut because he's not consistent. Great talent. They say out of Oregon. But if you look at him, his consistency, the up, the down, the dumb plays, the time doing good, the great plays, and then you do dumb plays. We don't want inconsistency on this team. We're not asking players to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. But we're asking them to give a damn big best effort every play and to be consistently good. See, I play cards. Don't gamble though. I like play bid whist, spades. And I always tell people this. I don't care who I play with. I don't win all the time. But I lose very often. That's the type of players I want. I want to have that mindset. I don't win every battle, but I lose very often. I mean, very seldom I lose. I'm sorry. Very seldom I lose. I don't win every battle, but I lose. Very seldom I lose. That means I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm consistently good. And that's what we're looking for in the back end of our roster. Guys that we got a role and we know whatever role they got, they're going to do that role on a consistent basis. Now, I'm going to tell y'all this. Listen to Schottenheimer talks. Listen to Coach Parker talks. Somewhere down the line during these next couple of weeks, they're going to keep mentioning the word about consistency. Look for it. It's either about players, it's going to be about what we do, it's going to be about how we plan. They're going to mention that. And when they mention that, I want y'all, whatever y'all do, I want y'all to stop and say, hey, man, give a shout out to Coach Marv. Coach Marv was already on that well before everybody else. So we're looking for consistency. So that leaves us right quick. So that's me eating crow, and that's me patting myself on the back for some stuff that I already predicted that I think we should have done, like getting rid of Holton and getting somebody else in there as a veteran, because I think Sam Williams is done. Tackling was outstanding in this game. We missed very little tackles, and we gave up very little yak yards. Very good standard all the way through. I remember last year, 2 years ago, I remember us doing the live stream, and I used to talk about we were giving up decent yards on the ends. People and we had people saying, "Well, that ain't gonna happen when we have our starters." You know what I said then? I said, if you allow the guys out there that the backup do undisciplined things, I ain't talking about stuff like getting contained is a discipline thing. Listen, you ain't got to be no frontline guy to understand that. You been learning that's in part one. When I see guys doing undisciplined things or let guys get around the corner and not tackling, and it's the third string or the second string, I'm not gonna say, well, when my first string come out, they're gonna stop. No, they're learning that from somewhere else. It's a tone being set. They're saying they can do that because if the second string doing that the whole time, I guarantee you the first string doing the same thing. So that's why I didn't say they got to play lights out, but I want them to play a consistent brand of football. And I'm seeing that with one string, two string, three, first string, second string, and third string. That's what it don't have to be lights out. But there are certain things I'm looking for that is consistent. Tackling. Looking like no confusion when you line it up. Pursuit to the football. Stuff like contain on the quarterback, on the outside. I went back and looked at it again. And I told y'all this yesterday. And I'm going to go to the next thing. But I told y'all this yesterday. Seattle took the same blueprint of attacking our defense like they did last year. Every time a team got within the 10-yard line of our team, the first thing they did is ran outside. Because they said our cornerbacks were going to step up. The safeties weren't going to fill the lane, and you're going to get a touchdown. What Seattle do every time they got inside? They try to run wide. They never ran up the middle on us last year to get in the end zone. They ran wide. Once you got past the 15 to 20 in, they start doing wide runs, and they'll kill us because there was nobody feel it, wasn't no aggressive. I told our back end didn't rally. They try to throw short passes all during the first half of the game. Same blueprint of how they attacked our defense last year. And guess what they found out? Oh, that don't work this year. Them short passes gonna get your guys killed out there. They're gonna catch it and we're gonna put them on the ground, and we put them on the ground hard. If you try to run something outside, we coming from everywhere. The guy in the cornerback is coming wide open. The safety is filling the lane wide open. And if you get by them, the linebackers and everybody else is coming. You can do all the formation you want. We're going to line up. There was no confusion about our lineup. I don't care if it was the first string, the second string, the people coming in, out, all the way through, even to the fourth quarter. That tells me there's coaching and teaching going on. And that tells me there's a level of how we do things. The second thing is the continuity. I'm starting to see it. Remember I told you, when you get continuity first, you get consistency. Let me say that again. I told you how to show it that. When you get continuity first, being together, playing with each other, then consistency comes. And then after consistency, come control. You control the tempo of the game. You control what they do. You actually control the game defensively. We look like we continuity, even from the first to the second and third string. Now we starting to get consistent effort from the first, the second, and the third string. Now you can see the swag in the guys, because see, first continuity comes, the consistency comes with confidence. Consistency and confidence is when you confident, you are consistent. Continuity, consistency with that confidence builds control. You saw a team out there with swagger because they was confident in what they do, because they had continuity with each other, and they was in point, and they was in control even though you was on the 5-yard line. This got nothing to do with talent. This has got the mindset. Look for that. As my grandma told me, man is going to take you a long way, take you longer than anything else you can take. Playing the right way in football or take you into the playoffs and could take you to the Super Bowl. Ask Seattle and New England. What's going on, Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones, look, hey, somebody should be, your mailbox should be ringing, ding a ding, probably the next, even it might be tomorrow. Tomorrow or Wednesday for sure. My long-term member here, man, Mr. Stephen Jones, first member. You want to like, comment? I got to put up here because I want to make sure y'all, some people like, comment, and subscribe, but hey, I'd rather you lose your super chats. If you want a super chat, that'd be great to put super chats in there. If you put a super chat in there, put it in there. There's no way I can see it. I need to probably run it on my phone so I can see it because I still ain't learned how to look at super chats. If you want to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share this video. I don't know how many likes. Somebody find out there in the chat. Tell me how many likes we got. Somebody tell me how many likes we got. We should have all likes. Everybody who's viewing this, I should at least have 40. It's 42 people here viewing. I should have 42 likes in here. I should at least have 42 likes in my chat. I'm gonna go in there and like it myself. I'm gonna like my own self. I should at least have 42 likes in my chat. Everybody who's in the chat I should have a like. 30 likes in there, man. Come on, give me some more likes. There's 39 people in this chat, and one of those likes are mine. And if you haven't subscribed, please get your friends and tell them because you learn some top right things, and Coach Marv is eating crow early on. But listen, man, we're building continuity. And as I always say, go back to my other shows. You're going to see Coach Marvis always tell you, I always tell you, my shows link. Stuff that I've told you before. You always hear me reference back to shows I have talked about before because everything is a building process. I told you about the continuity. I said in my Twitter post about what I see for this defense. And we're gonna share that right quick, and we're gonna go and look at some of these Twitter posts, and we're gonna see some of the stuff that I said before that is coming to truth. And then we're gonna move on to the next thing about where we need to go at. Let's just look at some of the stuff in my Twitter posts that I had out there. Yesterday, I just want to show you the post that I said yesterday when I talked about Von Miller. When people say when Coach said he's eating crow, yes, I do eat crow. Yep, I did eat crow, and I want to show you that where Coach Marv ate crow. I want to click on this post. This is a post I put on here yesterday. Today, this morning, in my live show last night, I talked about not wanting Von Miller. Remember, I talked bad about saying he was washed, but I think I was just a little upset because I thought he was washed, and I didn't like how the feeling for some were saying. I said some, I ain't say everybody. Some were saying he was a starter and a main guy, which I knew I love Gary and Izaraku. And I don't think they should be. I think this team is invested in them. But I always say you must look at the context. That's why I always tell y'all, right? And see what your coaching staff is trying to do, right? When I heard about Von Miller's conversation on Shannon Sharp, and I realized his role and realized the role he wants and what the Cowboys wants from him. And I love the signing. You heard what I said there? Here's Coach Marv eating the crow. I love the signing. They won 15 to 18 plays, a play guy. Sometimes more if you got some injuries. So if Izaraku go down and Gary go down, we might give him some more play. Just like I said about Clowney last year. I said that would be great for Clowney last year. And what? And it was. Not a full-time guy, but a hell of a part-time worker. You can't get no better. Hall of Fame part-time worker, got some juice and knowledge. You can't get no better than that. And I said this, the Sam Williams play last night probably helped them pull the trigger. I say, see Coach Marv eats crow too, eat crow as well. So when I go against something somebody say and we proved it wrong, there's nothing wrong with you. We all want the same thing to get to 6. And we got to, and sometimes we got to investigate. Sometimes guys say some great ideas, and you just got to understand it. And as I always say, defense is a weapon in Dallas. And I originally said about yeah, and I said something about that. So now we talking about our defense. I want to go back to some a post that I did about our defense. I think I did a post about our defense a while back. You know, I've been posting so many things. Again, there's the towels right there for defensive weapon. You know, you can order them. The towels and the shirts, man. If you want to order the towels and the shirts, I got the towels and the shirts and the charcoal gray shirts already ready for you if you want to order. Get on board with your shirts. You see, I've been putting in some work, man. Been putting in the work, putting in some work, man. A lot of posters I've been putting in here. Still said I believe that be careful, nation, about their expectations. Oh, here you go. This is a post I did back in August the 4th. See, I told you when Coach Mark, when I do something, I talk about something, it's built upon the next thing. That's why I consider the challenge that you're gonna learn something. You're gonna learn about the end. You learn about what they be talking about behind that wall, not just in front of those cameras. Consistency. I told you because I look say he's looking for consistency. Coach Shot and I'm looking for consistency, right? Coach Shot is preaching and looking for key players overall and the team overall to have some consistency. Splash plays get you attention. Consistency wins games and Super Bowls. Splash plays get you attention. Consistency wins games and Super Bowls. They don't want players not to be. They don't want players not to be perfect. They don't want them to be perfect, but be consistently good. Right? That's what I said then, and I still hold the truth right now today. I'm not telling you nothing that is something that's out of range from you, out of pocket. This is what I'm seeing from the defense. I said I saw this from the defense. What this post was. When I posted that, I posted this on August the 4th as well. Yes, please subscribe. But I posted this on August the 4th. August the 4th. What date it is now? August the what? 17th, 2 weeks ago. I posted this on August the 4th. I said what I'm starting to see from the defense. This was on August the 4th. I said I was starting to see continuity. They're building a feeling and understanding of the defense and their roles and each other. I told you on August the 4th, I said, I see continuity being built on August the 4th. You tell me where you get tell that. Listen, I can pat myself on the back. Tell me when anybody else giving you content that's seeing things and they're forming right in front of your face. I told you on August 4th, I said I see continuity. Yeah, I see guys understanding the defense and their roles. That's why they're playing fast and together from the first string all the way to the fourth quarter when we had the guys, anybody in there. Then when I say, what's the next thing I said? The next thing we will see form is confidence and trust. When you get down the goal line, you got to trust the guy next to you that he gonna do what the hell he's supposed to do. Because you ain't got time for nobody to make mistakes. If you got this lane to fill, I'm gonna turn him in. You gotta fill it. Anybody not in that gap, guess what? Touchdown. When guys get up and start dancing and the sideline start cheering, you ain't see a confident football team out there? See continuity first. Then you start to see confidence. Stuff I talked about on August the 4th, we seen it like other night. And then when I said after you start to see confidence, what's coming next? Control, faster play. When the defense controls the tempo of the game, plays fast and more physical and dominates. It's coming. We ain't got there yet. It's gonna take some adversity. It's gonna take some punches in the mouth. It's gonna take some guys, making a mistake, but staying to the course. I like yesterday, the other day is they didn't do nothing to hurt us on that first drive, but we had self-inflicted wounds. But did we drop our heads? Did we go to the sideline and compound the mistakes by coming back out and doing bad things? No, we locked in and we got tighter and tighter as the game went along. Like an anaconda. That's what we want. Anaconda don't kill you on first bite. They squeeze you and squeeze you until you don't want to live no more. And then they eat a dead body. Not a body that's fighting, the body's dead. August the 4th, I got receipts. See, Coach Marv bring out receipts. I'll eat crow when I'm supposed to eat crow. I won't say that hey, I ain't good, but I do got receipts. I always say we're gonna come back down the street for what Coach Marv talking about. We're gonna come back down these streets. Now, somebody might not listen. I might not have nobody want to collab with me. I might not have nobody want to talk to me because they might say Coach Marv is don't go into that type stuff with it. That's fine. I'm gonna trailblaze my way and I'm gonna support everybody else because I understand it need to be supported. I have supported, but we're gonna come down these streets of these intangible things if we're gonna win a championship. You can get the talent and you get all you want. If you don't have these things, you ain't gonna win. I have seen it before. And guys with just a little bit less talent gonna wipe the floor with you. Because they continuity, they confident, and they control. We seen this, what I got on this post right here. We seen 1 and 2 yesterday, other day. We ain't got to this part that control it. We seen the faster play. But when we get it that way, Listen, the whole world gonna know. And when the whole world knows, know what they're gonna say? Know what the whole world gonna say when they find out? When the whole world, let me get off this screen. Let me see how I get off this screen. When the whole world finds out, when they see the third part comes out, the continuity and the confidence, and then we start controlling the game and start playing faster and more physical and flying around and dominating, the whole world is going to say this. When we get to that level 3 with the confidence, the continuity we see, and we start flying around, and we start playing fast, and we get confident, and we start playing fast and playing more physical than the opponent, and we get to that with that word I said control, and we control the tempo, the whole world gonna say that defense is a weapon in Dallas. And some of y'all gonna wish y'all had a t-shirt. And the whole city is going to be right behind the defense. And you know what they're going to be talking about? They're going to be talking how great CD Lamb is and how great Pickens is and how great Dak Prescott is and Flournoy and the running game and the offensive line. And they're going to be the ass because they winning these fantasy points. But they're going to know that everything is being set at the table because defense is a weapon in Dallas. And if this defense is special like I think it can be, that's in our DNA to be deep in the playoffs. So look for it, people. Look for it. Now we're gonna talk right quick about this show because we're gonna talk about this week what we coming up with this week because now we have talked about all we saw last time, what we seen last time, and we have talked about everything that we saw and how we saw it and everything. And now it's time to move on. Now it's time to move on. Von Miller signed. Okay. Von Miller signed. The preseason game win, and we talked about all the good things that happened in the preseason game. Now let's get back to work. No damn days off if you prepared for the team and we preparing. The days off, we need to be watching film. The days off, you need to be getting your body ready and getting your mind right to go work. The focus is now the next victim, the next team, the next people that's coming in that we got to get ready for to get better. Another team that we gonna fight against somebody who trying to make the team. They're in their second preseason, so they're gonna be better because they don't have some. This ain't no first preseason practice for them. This is the second one for them. Our former coach coming in town, Kellen Moore. That should be a challenge for Dak Prescott because he should know some little things about Dak Prescott. I'm quite sure Saints got some Cowboy players on there. It's time to go to work. And as I say in this thing right here, keep your mind on your work, Cowboys. Same thing I say when I get out of every show. Thank you so much, sir, for the super chat. That's my guy, man. The guy that, listen, man, this guy, man, supports this channel, and we're gonna win together. We're gonna win together. And as I grow and everything I get in this channel, that I get out there and I offer to y'all, Mr. Jones gonna get something. He ain't got to worry about it. And we need, hey, Mr. Jones, me and you in South Carolina together. I got your address. And we're gonna link up and do lunch or something together, man. You right there in Williamsburg. I'm right here in Columbia, man. We gotta link up, man. Keep your mind on your work. This is the same thing I tell at the end of my shows. I tell Cowboy players, Cowboy coaches, keep your mind on your work. One of my famous coaches, Coach Tom Marv, the Black Snake. The guy that we used to hate Coach Marv, but we respected him and we trusted whatever he said. But we couldn't stand him because he would get, but when we got finished, we loved and liked and loved him to death because of what he got us and who we are right now today. But when we were playing for him, man, we hated to see him coming. But we didn't try him. And when he told us something, he was going to do that. But he always kept saying, keep your mind on your work. Mind everywhere else, but keep your mind on your work. That's what I'm telling these Cowboy things. Let's get your mind on work. Can we get out there? Guy, you done had a couple of days off. I need consistent play out you on this way. I need the consistent play. I need steal. I need you to come through. I need this running game. Sean and I were talking about this earlier today. We need to get this running game more. We need more push and more seams up the middle. He was talking about his backups, but that was he was giving a note to his starters. Hey, Ginger. That's a note to your starters. That's what we call having your meeting with your players through the media. Well, Shotton is putting some things out there now. See, he tells the media about things and get on certain situations because the players listen to what he's saying in the media. That's coaching through the media. And guess what y'all gonna do when he put it out there? The coaches out there all the reporters tomorrow when they have their scrimmage, the first thing y'all gonna look for is they getting pushed and seams up the middle when they run the ball. Because the coach said something about it. Now all your linemen, the spotlight on them. That's how you coach through the media. You put stuff out there in the atmosphere, and you say it in the media, guess what the media are gonna do? We're gonna watch it next because the coach talked about it. If you don't say nothing about it, y'all go right there and I ain't look at it. And the same stuff go off. Sometimes you could say something to a player, but if you tell the media and the media start asking questions about it, guys know about that. Then they say, let me tighten up because I don't want them talking about me. That's called coaching through the media. And you got to do that sometimes. Sometimes, as I used to say, sometimes you got to stir it out there. Throw it out there. When you throw it out there, sometimes you catch something. Now, just like it's fishing. You throw the line out there, you can't catch it. You don't throw the line out there. The defense, can we have another consistent effort against another type of offense? A more precise passing offense. Can we put another consistent effort together? We don't put two. Can we put another one? Can we stack days? Surrender the outcome. Fall in love with the process. I hate to say this, it is 1-0. We 1-0 with the first scrimmage, then we clear the slate. 1-0 with our first preseason game, slate clear. Now we got a new opponent. We 0-0 now. This is Saints. Building confidence. Keep your mind on your work. I heard somebody say something about it, and I want to say this right before I go. This is about, and I don't want nobody to think about it, but I want, there's a coaching point I want y'all to learn. And I'm not trying to going back and forth with nobody, and I ain't trying to say that I can understand where they're coming from with this. Now, this is what I want to say. I'm not going back. It was a couple of my cohorts that I respect a lot. They were talking about Yvonne, Turpin, and a lot of people would say there's some things saying that Turpin is taking up an extra receiver spot where you don't really gonna use him as a receiver because you got the receiver room is so good that they're really undervaluing his position, and they said his position is overrated. Let me explain something to you on that. First of all, he's a very good return guy. And that position should not be overrated because it has very big value. I understand where you're coming from because you said, well, he didn't get no returns last year. But understand this, and this is the coaching point I want y'all to understand. If you got a great defense, a very good defense, a return guy is a valuable weapon, a dominant weapon. Most great return guys are probably was on teams that had a very good defense because they got a lot of great opportunities. So, well, what you mean by that, coach? See, when you got defense getting 3 and outs, and if you get more aggressive in the punt block, because if you give a first down, you ain't worried about it because you're confident your defense can get another stop. So sometimes you take a chance and being aggressive and going after the punter. We say, well, coach, what you mean by if you're going after the punter? Well, what that got to do with the return guy? Because you have an aggressive nature of going after the punter, you make the word comes out, you make the punt team get a little hesitant on coverage and making sure they get the punt off. And if you fake like you're going to get the punt and you turn it to the return and they try to get the kickoff faster, which they can't angle it when they try to get all those little things. Now you give your guy, who's a great return guy, a little bit more room. And if you get into better field position, you put the pressure on their defense because they know you got a great offense. See, this game is about who applies more pressure to the other team for the other team to make mistakes. I know y'all have heard this before. It's not about how many plays you make. It's about how many mistakes you make. Usually the team that makes the most amount of mistakes loses the game. Because usually big plays come from major mistakes. If you knew this, they'll tell you 80 to 90% of the sacks that the players get is not about what the defensive end done or the defensive player did. It's about the mistake the guy made blocking him. And the better guys, when you make any mistake, they capitalize on it. If you're not as good, they can make a mistake and they can get back in and save themselves. But against a Parsons or Miles Garrett, one bad hand placement, bad mistake on your part can cost you a sack. Very rarely, if you're in the right position, do the right stuff, the ball is probably going to get out of there. Unless the quarterback holds the ball too long. Again, a mistake. So a great return guy with a good defense is a major weapon. And when you got a good defense, your special teams can get a little more aggressive. CG, hey, I'm not saying that about you, man. You're a great contributor too, man. This guy right here, man, is a member. And I appreciate him, man. You talking about somebody being in my chat and making some great comments. This guy is impeccable. We don't always agree. Yeah, I need to build me a website so I can put. Cause I got some more merchandise that I'm gonna put on my website. I'm in the process of building a website now. These is boy, I tell you, man. I never thought that this YouTube thing would be expensive, man. This is expensive trying to grow your channel, and especially with a guy not like me that's not real technical at all. That's what stopped me from starting the channel for so long. But God is good, and He put me in different realms. He's got me somewhere, as y'all see, Miss Ginger is in the profile and to be in the chat. She always speaking up. She's helped me a great deal with the design and the producing of these shirts, as well as a lot of other things, man. That's when that's when you get the people that's in your life surrounding you, man, and the things you do, man. And if it's in His will and it's in your path, He will make provisions for you. Yeah, but that's what I was saying when we talk about Turpin. They like Turpin even more now this year. See, last year, Turpin, he didn't really help us none last year because hell, we couldn't get nobody off the field. And then when we did get a 3 and out, we weren't going to press the punter because if we gave them the ball back and hit the punter, we almost that's a touchdown given up. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't push the issue. But when you got a good defense, you're going to put pressure on them to get the punt off. And then if we get good field position, I understand what y'all saying. Don't listen here. Do not say you got a good offense that you can get the ball back at the 20-yard line and since you got a great offense that you're going to stress them every time to go 80 yards because you got this magnificent offense. It's going to fail. This is the NFL. If defense make you drive long period, you're going to stress your offense out. So anytime you get a short field, still efficient, and we get a short field, we get a field position over the 40. I used to be a defense coordinator for a long time. Listen, man, that stresses when you got a good offense that's balanced and they're in your territory, in your back door already. You panicking on that sideline calling plays and personnel from a defensive point of view. That's winning the emotional part of the game. This is why Turpin would be great for this team. I understand what you're talking about, but you don't need a boatload of wide receivers. We're gonna keep 5, and I think we're gonna keep 6. We're probably gonna keep 7. We're gonna have some on the price spot. Don't worry about what we about receivers. We're gonna have enough receivers. Y'all kill me with that, man. Me worry about tight ends. So I'm not going at nobody. I'm just telling you the coach's point of view of how that value goes up with a better defense. Okay. The punt return is part of your defense. That's he's a field position center. So we used to call the punt returner and the point guy defensive guys. All right. Because one, they can score while we still on the field as a defensive unit on the punt return. And then with punting is the one that's getting us out of position where we start off, where our punters getting the balance. So That's very important. Okay. Yeah. So I look for Turpin to make some plays, but that's all predicated on the guys around him blocking and understanding that this is serious. And shouting out, pointing out about some things on special teams he didn't like. And again, I think they're going to correct those things because it's got to be consistent all the way through. Um, so I'm ready at my time, man. An hour and 15 minutes. I want to say, man, I want to thank everybody who's been in the chat. I think all the people who are putting out some great comments as well. All the people that's been following me. Please like, comment, subscribe. Everybody in this chat who, if you hadn't subscribed, you got friends, you got groups that you in, cowboy groups. Share your posts with them. Tell them what you think about Coach Marv and Real Talk, and get on board with subscribing. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for all the stars that y'all have been giving me. Again, if you want to support the channel, help with this website, help with these trying to produce these t-shirts as well, man, and trying to get this stuff up, man, so we can get more stuff out here. If you want to support the channel, man, this is my cash app. This is the same cash app you probably see when you email me to order your shirts. We're gonna have you cash app this right here for you order your shirts. When you send out your stuff to when you send when you send out your stuff to me for the orders of the t-shirts, we're gonna send you back and we'll tell you about this cash app to send, and we'll give you the cost of the t-shirts. We do take special orders. We had a gentleman that wanted a long sleeve shirt, so there's a different price for a long sleeve shirt. There's a different price for a hoodie. Hoodies, man, we're not ordering in bulk, so we're ordering good quality stuff. So it costs a little bit more, but if you want a hoodie, but get on board with this. Coach Marv, um, uh, um, defense is a weapon. Again, if you want a shirt, this is where the email address is saying to say, hey, you reference it, say, hey, I'm looking for one. I want one of those shirts. We will get back with you content. We'll back with you. We'll find out which one you want, which shirt you want, what color. We'll tell you what the pricing is, what the shipping and handling, and then we'll get all that stuff squared away from you. If you return the email back, as well as do the cash transaction, we're going to start processing your order, and we're going to get your shirt out to you. And Mr. Jones, or is in the chat, he's going to post a picture when he gets his shirt and let everybody know that we're not playing around. We are filling out shirts, and Mr. Jones should be getting his shirt shortly. He's going to post a picture of his shirt, as well as what was inserted in his bag, because we're going to give you something that's going to be very, very nice, to let you know that we appreciate your support. Like I said, man, go make sure that you support all the rest of these channels, all these rest of these guys and their ideas, but we have discernment. Think about it. Think about their ideas. Everybody's not right, everybody's not wrong, but we all try to make sure and have discernment about the people who are just trying to utilize the Cowboys for nothing. I'm glad some of the people that we used to be having in our chat sometimes are just trying to stir everybody up. We didn't have them in the chat, but I like them anyway too, because everybody in the chat is helpful. It gets my algorithms up. As I always say, man, no one or nothing can stop God's will. Talked about that earlier with something else. When you're doing with God's purpose, you're in His light. No one can stop, man. God will make provision for you. And I always say, sometimes you have to have a discerning spirit. Sometimes you have to even look back, as I had to look back when I had to eat crow today. But I had to look back. It is a sport thing, and that's just like in anything else. Sometimes you have to look within and have a discerning spirit and ask God to say, "Hey, show me if I'm wrong. Let me open my ears, be quick to listen and slow to speak." Sometimes we jump off stuff because we was agitated about what we thought people were saying, and I should have probably said, yes, I thought he was washed. But for our situation, if we wanted for a different purpose, he may be a good acquisition. But if we wanted for a number one guy, then that we're making a mistake. So again, I've learned I don't have no problem with eating my own crow. You know what I'm saying? Von Miller would help us in the positions that you 16, 15, 14 plays a game. That's where he understands that. Matter of fact, he talked about that the other day. He understands. Listen, man, Von Miller Von is like this. And one of my friend had to tell me this too. He said, Coach, Vaughn has been in this game for a long time. He said when you let's say when you retire or you get older and you start working part time, you say, man, I ain't working full time no more. I'm working part time, but I'm making some good little money working part time. You doing part time hours, maybe 5 hours, 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day. You working. If somebody come to you and say, hey man, we want you to start working a 12-hour shift again, guess what you gonna say? Well, no, man, I ain't getting into that no more, man. I can't, man. I got too much rest, man. I can give you the 4 hours, 5 hours at a good pace, man, to give you some quality time. But I ain't working no 12 hours in a long time, and I ain't trying. I do it for a couple of days, but I ain't doing it. I don't want to be locked in there forever. I ain't working them long hours no more. That's what Von Miller said. Give me 5, 6, give me 10, 15 plays a game, and let me go get this quarterback. Let me pull out my moves. But I ain't dealing with no guy doggone defense, those 300-pound guys in no run game and all that stuff for those 60 plays in a game. Nah, I'm 37 years old. I love playing, but hey, I can listen. I'm a specialty guy now. I'm not a full-time guy. And if he understands his role, he will be damn good at it. And yes, Uncle Charles, he will help this defense. Now, but guess what? Soon as he get a splash play, some of y'all will be saying, no, Vaughn need to be out there every play. And Vaughn will tell you, I ain't gonna make it through the season if I'm out there every play. So let's just understand, knowing your role, knowing your fit. You know, remember that saying that was used to be out there, stay in your lane? That perfect thing what that is. Stay in your lane. And when you stay in your lane, he'll be damn good at that time. He would be very good. But the days of him being the workhorse, no, that's over. His credit fall time is undefeated. And you can speed fall time up by doing too much. Y'all know that. All y'all know that out there. Y'all have got everybody got to that point where they got older say, man, no, I still do some things. I just can't do it at no wide open pace all the time now. Because I mess around and have myself in the hospital. But I still can get out there and do some work. But I just ain't gonna do that every day, all day no more. Football ain't no different, baby. So, and we're gonna take it easy on practice. He ain't gonna be out there. We're gonna practice it. We're gonna give him some hard practice, and then we're gonna give him some rest days. Yeah, because we want him to be a specialty guy. And everybody else is gonna understand that. Man, been in the league 16 years. They understand that. So that's how that goes. But have a discerning spirit, man. No one and nothing can stop God's will. Thank y'all so much. Uncle Charles, good to see you back in the chat, man. Salute, man. Um, hey, I can't even get in touch with Law, man. I know you still talk on Law show, but tell him, hey, man, Coach Marv still love him, man. Nobody, don't holler at the brother no more. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, man. I must have said something or did something, but I thought I've always gave respect to Mr. Law because I'm not nowhere without Mr. Law. But like I say, man, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I can't even get the guy to even to like none of my posts that I tag him in no more. I guess Coach Marv don't know what he talk about. But my record says a lot of stuff I've done said has come true, and a lot of it. But anyway, we'll leave that alone. Until next time, man. Let's get Cowboy coaches, Cowboy players. Tomorrow, get your mind on your work. Peace.